Golfing for Greatness. How to impress a girl with your skills. At one point, there was a boy named Perceville, but everyone called him Civil. He was an average boy, of average build, average hair, always wore sandals, you know the type. He had never aspired to anything beyond ordinary. One day, however, Civil was at a sports game. A golf game, to be exact. He was at this golf game, not because he wanted to be, but because his father, whose name was Jude, loved golf. Civil did not love golf, but he didn't complain. After the game, Jude took his son to go and get ice cream and play mini golf. Civil didn't complain, but he certainly wasn't completely happy with his father's decision to continue the golf theme. They bought ice cream, ate it, then began a game of mini golf. Jude slammed his son, that is, beat him so badly at mini golf that Civil might have been embarrassed, that is, if he had cared. Civil did not want to be here, and he was so completely bored. Then, he wasn't so unhappy. Because, then, he did care and he wasn't so bored. Jude turned to Civil and said, "Hey, isn't that the girl you were telling me about?" "Ah, what's her name?" "What's her face?" "Her name is Monica, Dad," said Civil. Jude then continued, "Well, son, now's your chance to impress her with your awesome skills. I mean, you're not going to just sit here and let David II steal her from you, are you?" To which Civil said, "Dad, you're embarrassing me." But his father was right. He couldn't just sit there and let David II charm Monica with his chubby baby arms. Monica was the prettiest girl that Civil had ever seen. She had hair, and she didn't even wear an eye patch. David II was Civil's greatest rival, and he was a baby, not exactly literally in all senses, but yes, figuratively. The other kids in that group were inconsequential, so we shan't mention them. "Go on, Civil, impress her," said Jude. "And how exactly am I supposed to do that?" "As you can clearly see, I am pretty horrible at mini golf," said Civil. "Well, son, I happen to know that your kids group that is hosted at the library and meets on Saturdays at noon to discuss our current political climate, which Monica and David II and all those other kids just so happen to go to, is having a bowling event next month. You see, they have started a new bowling team and they have yet to be beaten." "You can be the difference, Civil," said Jude. "Why did you just explain our group in detail? And how exactly does any of that help me? And better yet, why did you say now is my chance to impress her, if I have to wait till next month and all that other stuff you said?" The kids group that Jude mentioned was as he described. Today, they were meeting to play mini golf. And interestingly, Civil is a part of this group, but you see, Jude had taken Civil to a golf game and then mini golfing on the same day instead of letting him go with his little friends, for some reason. "Well, son, those are good questions, to which I cannot answer you. But now, we must go. You are going to join a bowling team and then show that David II who is boss." "All right, Dad. Let's do that." Civil rolled his eyes. This seemed like nonsense. And I mean, how could he ever get the girl? He was just so average and normal. Even David II wasn't average, seeing as he still had his baby fat. And Monica, she was, well, beyond average, and she could be a model, or at least that was Civil and David II's opinion. So, the next day Civil's father took him to join a bowling team. The senior citizens bowling team, who, by the way, got a discount when bowling, and just for being old. Civil did not get a discount, because he was still a kid. Civil was shocked that his father would have him join this team. What in the world, he thought. The senior citizens were equally surprised, and they did not seem impressed. In fact, they were vehement that a youngster like him was not going to join their team. "Jude, what do you think you're doing? Why would we let a whippersnapper like Civil join the senior citizens bowling team?" "What made you think that would be a good idea?" said Carl, the oldest of all seniors. "I know it must seem crazy, revolutionary even, but trust me, Carl, you won't regret it," said Jude. "I won't, huh? Please, Carl, just give him a chance. Don't make me bring up what happened in Canada." Both Jude and Carl stared off into the distance for 5 minutes. They were most likely having a flashback. which the others, of course, could not see. Then, they came back to it. Carl said, "All right, we'll give him a chance, but if he gives us trouble, he's out." "You got it, Jude?" "Yes, Carl. And thank you. You don't know how much this means to me." Thus began Civil's journey with joining the senior citizens bowling team. It took hard work, especially considering he had never even bowled before. The seniors grumbled. They were unhappy that he was on their team. But Civil would not let their prejudice hold him back. He would fight through the great odds and become the bowler he needed to be, and impress Monica with his skills. Before he knew it, the big day had come. The day when the library kids group for discussing the current political climate's bowling team, or KGFDTCPC for short, was to face the senior citizens bowling team, or the old people for short. Civil was so nervous, and he could tell his teammates were too. Carl kept taking in and out his dentures, a sign he was nervous. Civil was ready, though. He had proven himself worthy, and most of the old people had even started to like him. Everyone except Rhonda, that is, who was David II's grandma. She kept calling Civil a nerd for some reason. But the time for personal opinions was over and the big game was on. Bowl after bowl, and it had come down to the wire. Each team had one bowl left. David II and Civil would be the ones leading their teams to victory, or to an extreme and utterly embarrassing loss. David II was up first. It was the 10th frame, and if he played it right, he could block the seniors team from ever winning the game. He threw the ball. 9 pins. He threw again. A spare. Because he had thrown a spare, he got one more bowl. He threw a strike. This was bad. The only way Civil could pull through and help his team to win was to bowl all strikes, which would be a miracle. Before going up to bowl, Carl called him back for encouragement. "Listen, kid, do your best. This is the 10th frame, and if you can get a turkey, we win. Otherwise, it's over. But I thank you for your effort, kid. And I want David II to lose as much as you do. He's my neighbor, and boy, is he annoying, getting the sidewalk all dirty and stuff. I'll do my best. Thanks, Mr. Wilton." Civil stepped up to throw his first ball. A strike. The old people cheered. His next ball. Another strike. The seniors went crazy. It was all up to this last throw. The tension was so high, Civil was sweating and Rhonda was eating pizza. Civil wound up, ready for the throw. He turned to those watching him. There she was, Monica. She smiled at him and he felt his stomach do a flip. He had to do this, not just for Monica, but for his team, for the old people he called his friends. He threw it. It flew down the lane. Last second, it went into the gutter. It all seemed over, but then, it bounced. The force with which Civil had thrown it was so great that it had bounced out of the gutter and into the pins. A perfect strike. The crowd that had gathered went wild. David II ran off bawling because he was a baby. Monica came up and hugged Civil. "Wow, that was impressive. You're cool," she said. Civil looked back at his team. Carl gave him a thumbs up, the greatest sign of respect you could expect from Carl. Civil smiled. He had done it. Later that week, Civil and his father went mini-golfing. "Thanks, Dad, you were right. I'll never doubt your methods again, no matter how strange they are. Of course, son." The end.